Students, let's summarize the lesson Footprints Without Feet, written by H.G. Wells. This lesson is meant for class 10th, and this is an extract taken from Wells' novel The Invisible Man. Actually, this is a science fiction, and the main character here is Griffin, who struggles hard to survive among people and in the cold weather. Here, I want to tell you why it is referred as cold weather, because he has to be without clothes in order to maintain his invisibility. Otherwise, he will be seen by the people. He was a young student at University College, almost an albino, the 6 feet high and broad, with a pink and white face and red eyes, had won the medal for chemistry, had been assiduously engaged in his studies, but it is with the discovery of the formula for becoming invisible that he turned into a monstrosity. With the discovery of the formula, he became a monster and heartless being. The invisible man, that is Griffin, wanted to unleash a reign of terror. Actually, he wanted to terrorize the people with his invisibility, because he says also it wasn't wanton killing he was interested in. It was what he terms judicious slaying. Slaying means killing. According to him, whatever he is doing, that is totally justified and he is not doing anything wrong. Anger and frustration had made him deranged with the cold-blooded instincts of a homicidal sociopath. He wanted to terrify and kill anyone who disobeyed the orders and also those who defended him. The invisible man had become inhuman, and the loss of his corporeal invisibility had rendered him to cut himself off from humanity, and did not refrain from doing as he pleaded, even if it meant killing people to get his way or torturing them. In order to fulfill his selfish motives, he could go to any extent. The story begins when his footprints are seen by two boys in London, and then he had to flee from there. Two boys on a street in London were surprised to see fresh muddy footprints of a bare feet on the steps of a house without finding who was making them. They were shocked when the footprints automatically disappeared. These footprints had been made by Griffin, an eccentric scientist who had discovered how to make his body transparent, and that he could do with the help of that formula. He could only be seen by the clothes he was wearing, and that's why he used to keep himself naked in the cold, chilly weather. Griffin had a criminal bent of mind and was a lawless person, means he will never abide by any rule and regulation. He set fire to his landlord's house because he wanted to take revenge against him for trying to evict him. To get away, he had to remove his clothes so that he could become invisible. Now he becomes a homeless wanderer in London without clothes or money, and that also in winter season, in the cold, chilly weather. Now, how to survive? So what did he do? He entered into a big store in London. He managed to escape from the two boys' observation and entered unseen into a big store to get warm. So after the store was closed at night, he put on some new clothes from the store, had food and coffee from the restaurant in the store, and went to sleep on a pile of quilts. Actually, he got such a comfortable shelter after a long time, and that's why he couldn't get up in the morning. So he overslept and woke up when the shop had opened and the assistant had arrived. He was seen by the people, so he again took off his clothes so that he could not be seen by them, thus saved himself from being caught. but once again he was without clothes in chilly, cold winter. That added to his woes. After this, he reaches Iping village, where he takes shelter in an inn. He reached at Iping village for shelter, went to Mrs. Hall, the innkeeper, to stay. Mrs. Hall was very happy to have a visitor in an unexpected way. But here, Griffin asked for privacy, means he did not want any type of interference. She tried to comfort him, took great care of him also, but simultaneously his destructive behavior made her suspicious about his activities. When his money was finished, he robbed a clergyman's house by using his invisibility. Even, he attacked the couple there. One day, Miss Hall found Griffin's room open with his bandages and clothes lying around. She and her husband entered the room because she was already suspicious about him. Suddenly, both of them were attacked by furniture being flung at them, and this was done by Griffin, who was invisible. But she couldn't see anybody who's doing this. Hall felt that the furniture was haunted by spirits, as she could not see Griffin. When the clergyman reported the burglary to the police, most people in the village felt that the strange scientist had a hand in it, because such type of activities were taking place soon after he had entered that village. Because he paid his due rent also, whereas earlier he was not able to do so. So Mr. Jaffers, who is the police constable, was called to arrest Griffin on suspicion. Griffin lost his temper and decided to tell the reality. Actually, he blames the society for whatever was happening with him. But here, he himself was responsible for whatever he was facing. He started removing his clothes, and even Jaffers could not catch someone whom he could not see. He was knocked unconscious by the invisible man. Means the policeman was knocked unconscious by Griffin. And once again, he was successful to escape from there and face the world again in that cold, chilly weather. Now let's talk about the title of the story. The title of the story creates interest in the readers because the readers are always curious about the next proceedings. The lead character was an invisible man. Here, no doubt, we can say that the lead character is known as the protagonist of the story. But here, we cannot call Griffin a protagonist. He is an antagonist because he does everything against the society to harm other people. His body became transparent, yet he could feel cold. He could not survive in the cold weather, so decided to take shelter. His footprints were observed and followed by young boys. In this way, his life becomes hell because he had to run from everywhere. However, whatever happens with him, that was the sole responsibility of his destructive behavior. So this is the story Footprints Without Feet, written by H.G. Wells. Thank you so much.